This podcast is a production of Unfiltered Studios. If you would like to know more about joining Unfiltered Studios, please visit our website at unfpod.com for more information.
Actor you'd most like to work with?
Well, I got to work with Marlon Brando and George C. Scott and Robert De Niro right now. I mean, I'd love to. I have an idea for a sequel to Heat. Here's my pitch. You remember Natalie Portman in it?
Sure.
So, Pacino's adopted daughter. So she comes home and says, Daddy, Daddy, I want you to meet my fiance. And it's me because he's retired. And I come to Chicago where he's retired back to, and I'm going to torture him, and then I'm going to kill him. So it's a mind game, and then big car chase.
Michael Mann directed?
I would like that. I can't get made without him, so I would especially like that.
Did you love doing Heat?
Yeah. Michael is just like an actor when he works. Every single detail is crucial, and he loves being in the moment. So much so that sometimes he won't let the moment end.
He's here. I can feel it.
Now.
Assume they got our phones, assume they got our houses, assume they got us.
Feel the heat. Al Pacino, Robert De Niro, Val Kilmer.
This crew is good.
Heat, rated R. Now playing at a theater near you.
We mixed, we loaded it, we edited it.
Sometimes we get so deep into conversation that we have separate segments worthy of their own place in the sun.
Here is a reshuffled mini episode.
For me, the action is the juice. The action is the juice.
What do you want here?
Oh, yeah. I've got my little lift on, so I can be even with De Niro when I talk to him.
It is wild, though, how those two have mirrored each other. Even, like, if I take away Godfather 2 and their subsequent movies together, like, they were almost always, like, on the exact same list. But I think they have different kinds of talents. Like, Pacino is better at just, kind of like Christopher Walken, kind of just being an insecure guy who's very loud, while De Niro is kind of more moody, definitely does more playful things with his eyes and hands, you know.
More quiet.
Brooding, strategic. I mean, there's a reason he's in The Deer Hunter, and then he plays veteran turned, antagonist vigilante, in Taxi Driver. He is that essence. And again, I'm not here to talk shit. I get it. Every actor does this. Everybody, from Harrison Ford to Walken to Sam Jackson, like, everybody does more of what they do best, and then they do themselves playing basically a caricature of themselves. It just depends on the movie and whether it's good or not, or whether their heart's in it.
Robert De Niro plays the head of a crew of professional thieves in that scene from Heat, and he's explaining to his partner, played by Val Kilmer, about how he allows himself no attachments in life. And one of the themes of Heat, a fascinating 3-hour film by Michael Mann about the nature of cops and robbers, is the age-old story of men torn between the intoxicating violence of their jobs and the sanity of their women. Michael Mann creates characters who are smart, verbal, and articulate, and one of the pleasures of the movie is simply listening to them talk. That's especially true in the movie's best scene, where Pacino and De Niro, who have never started a movie together before, stop chasing each other long enough to sit down over a cup of coffee and talk about their lives. It's a great scene. It's a very good movie.
It's a very good movie. I think you left out one other element that's very good, and that is the how-to technical quality of the crime that's going on in the crime solving. Just like in Michael Mann's Thief, more than a decade ago with James Caan, he's very good. Obviously, Mann has spent a lot of time with criminals and with cops, and he talks about and shows us, in fact, the picture opens up with the creation of an incendiary device. And it's that kind of thing that keeps your eye, you know, we have been down the track of one more crime, one last theft as a story device. But I think it's his high-tech quality that also
I
keeps
like
it
the
involved.
high-tech quality, although I question whether it's as accurate as you think it is. I think
I don't know, but it seems like
the heist that begins the movie seems a little bit more cinematic than realistic. That's not a complaint, but I don't really think this is a docudrama.
Okay, we both like the picture.
Know this, but it kind of explains his behavior. The background on his character, which wasn't mentioned in the movie, was that he was a recovering drug addict.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, Pacino, yes.
Yeah, or Pacino, yeah.
You know, but yeah, it was well. They filmed some scenes, and then Mann just felt, you know, after about the sixth, you know, rough cut, you know, he'd already had the sound effects guys, you know, ordered to them, hey, don't dub in gun sounds, keep the raw sound because we're using actual guns. You know, during
that was one of the first things I really noticed about the movie was the gunfire.
Yeah. But I do see some people, and we are introducing James to this. He's never seen it, so I know, shocker, but we're going to sell him hopefully, and he might see it at the end of this chat. We don't know, but
you haven't seen it yet, James?
No, I haven't. I was 95. I was like, how can I put it carefully? 95 was basically watching a lot of indie shit. I was watching like Clerks and, you know, Usual Suspects, and I think, trying to think, was Train Spotting. Yeah, Train Spotting was out that time. So basically, I was like in my like indie mood. I didn't want to see anything like mainstream, you know.
Fuck him. Anyway,
I've always been a fan of Michael Mann, so
yeah, we all are. It's just interesting how I think it's okay. Like, people love at this point. This is where Oscars go into total snobbery mode, where they're like, "Oh, this movie's good. Why didn't it win awards?" I'm like, it doesn't need to win awards to be considered good.
Correct.
And yeah, the people were already fuming about how this and Last of the Mohicans didn't win anything. It's like, that's okay. Well, Mohicans is, you'll be damned to find anyone who hates it. Heat, you know, it did get some detractors back in the day where many thought, hey, good performances, way too fucking long. This was a TNT staple for me. Now, I'm going to try not to spoil this too much. I don't know if there's different scenes in the TV edit or not, but maybe you guys can clarify for me. I could have sworn growing up for the longest time. I rewatched it on Netflix. It's basically the director's cut. Well, actually, no, it's not. It's just the current remaster. To get the director's cut, the Blu-ray just has a few less scenes of Pacino's hamminess, but I could have sworn that Chris, Val Kilmer's character, got away at the airport, took out a fake ID, went up an escalator. Didn't see that anywhere on this rewatch, so I was like, maybe my mind is just misremembering.
Well, he gets away.
Right. But I recall a follow-up.
Oh, you thought there was more to it? Okay.
I just recall there a follow-up at the airport, like once he's so sad that he can never go back to that illegal life and get his girlfriend.
Well, he gets stopped by the cop outside his girlfriend's house.
Right.
But he has to take ID and gets away. Yeah.
Yeah, that was in there, and
Spoiler,
for whatever reason, I just remembered a follow-up scene where while they're at the airport, he also is like getting away, like on a plane to Miami or whatever under a different alias.
Well, yeah, he kind of did. They didn't make the film.
Yeah, so
it was just basically his wife waving him away, and that was it.
Yeah, right. So for whatever reason, I had it in my mind. There was like a following scene of him going up an escalator into an airport. But I guess, so I hate to break it to you guys, I have read the sequel. There's a book, and now they're adapting it into a book. And I was kind of unimpressed. It's like both a prequel and a sequel. Like, here's Pacino's, you know, Vincent Hanna before he becomes a sergeant of the Vice Squad. And then let's have Chris. He's getting away, but he's doing business with some traffickers. And okay. I thought they had Hannah's character down pretty good, but I didn't care for how they rewrote Val Kilmer's character. Now, James, I think the reason this is one of his best movies is like, this is the powerhouse year. This is when he does Ghost in the Darkness, Batman, and this is all in that same year. And apparently there are rumors that his character's marksmanship is shown at like military recruitment academies.
Wow.
Because Andy McNabb of the Real Life Bravo Force Zero was one of the supervisors on this in Saving Private Ryan. So I think that's why people like it. You believe why they're so good at predicting each other and calculating is that, yeah, Pacino used to be a Marine, as well as it's implied Sizemore and Kilmer and De Niro's all are. In the original remaster, before it's all darkened today, you used to be able to see when when De Niro was getting out of bed, you saw a Marine, skull symbol
Okay.
on his arm, but you can't see that now in the current remaster. Oreo, welcome to the show. So you love all kinds of twisted worlds and everything. Where do you rank kind of some of Michael Mann's material, like just compared to say just all the others? Tarantino, Scorsese, Brian De Palma. Like, what does he do that makes it his own voice?
Let me do some research.
Oh, I'm gonna say, I'm gonna say he's got a style. He's got a style, and it flows through most of his movies that he does.
Yeah, it's very slow and brooding. Yeah, and David Ayer pretty much makes a career of that with SWAT, Training Day, and Straight Kings, and they both, all these guys love not just detailing Chicago, but LA. But it is so wild, bonkers to me. For the longest time, I just never knew that Heat was loosely inspired by a true story, and the fact that they even had respect to not even put a base, inspired by a real event on the marketing is also interesting.
Well, because he probably segued away from a lot of the true story in some respects,
as usually happens. Yeah.
And what I found interesting just recently was I found out this was actually originally written as a TV pilot for a TV series.
Really?
Yeah, and it was apparently a TV pilot called L.A. Takedown.
Yeah, it was a pretty lousy NBC TV movie of the week. You can tell, like, Mann is basically having his Miami Vice guys just, get something quickly in the can. He hates the experience. They offer to have it go to series, and Mann, actually, this is when he was playing hardball. If he was anyone else, he would have sold it.
Well, because they wanted to replace the actor, I think.
Yeah, it was that, and he just didn't like how it turned out, so he sat on it. Then one day, the main producer on this, I forget his name, for Regency and Warner Brothers, just sees that script in one of his vaults and says, "Why have you never made this?" And then after Michael Mann sleeps on it, he's just like, "You're absolutely right. I need to remake this into a, almost 3-hour epic." And yeah, it is so funny though. I never know who's gonna like this movie and who's gonna be like, cool action and cast, don't care for the movie. I literally introduced this to my parents recently. I just was rewatching it for old time's sake. It blew me away. I was definitely about to cry at the end. I'm a baby, but literally I like how you can actually root for either one. It is that atmospheric, but it was just so wild. Like, I had other people in my family admitting, yeah, I probably wouldn't have seen it had you not seeked it out. It just sounded generic on paper, but it was actually pretty electrifying. And when Michael Mann was on the director's chair on El Rey Network with the talk show by Robert Rodriguez, I do love how they point out how all the music just absolutely just stops during that climatic shootout. Like, it goes dead silent. And it, like, Mann is so good with music. Like, he has picked it all out himself. He's not doing it just to be, to bullshit. Like, he's like, no, I want this Moby track. And he actually asked, can you rescore that with a new symphony just so it was a little more fleshed out for this movie? Can I use this song by The Edge? And they're really good with soundscapes.
Well, Michael Mann, that's kind of his thing, especially with Miami Vice, he was, Yeah. So, and JJ, I'll tell you this: Robert De Niro and Al Pacino, it's worth it for the diner scene alone.
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
with them,
it was a mixture of improv, but it was the right kind of improv. It wasn't just make up lines. It's like he just wanted some actual, like, fueled, like, heated discussions.
And it's not over the top either.
Right. Yeah. It's very natural, organic. And it is actually interesting when you see it on network TV versus on cut, how they cut away some of the excess dialogue. But yeah, how that ends is like, brother, you are going down. You know? But it is awesome. It's like, yeah, if we weren't on opposite end of the law, we could actually probably have a drink. We'd probably go fishing. We'd probably play poker together.
You know, we're sitting here, you and I, like a couple of regular fellas.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now you do never see them in the same shot.
Yeah.
So rumors started that they actually filmed it separately.
Yeah.
But you know what? I think that
Michael Mann confirmed that was false. And
I think that kind of got started because they're both in Godfather 2, but they're obviously never in the same shot there because it's two different time periods. So I think that it's kind of like the Beatles. There was a rumor that George Harrison or Clapton plays guitar on Abbey Road, and it's the same thing. He played guitar on the White Album, but not on Abbey Road. And then rumors started, and okay, that can't be John or George. That's got to be Clapton playing the big guitar finish on Abbey Road. It's the same kind of thing. These rumors start, and then they don't go away. You know.
No,
Once
that's
you
true.
in your head, it doesn't go away. You know.
And like I was saying on the setup earlier, it is interesting how this literally got blasted at the time. And I have film buff pals of mine who love, everything. They love Godfather. They love some, or if not all of Scarface, but like some of them are just like, I never cared for Heat. It's just a measuring contest with two great performances. I'm like, really? Like, so for me, the essence of it, not only does Michael Mann once again work with Wes Studi, Magua and Last of the Mohicans. It's cool seeing him be one of the LAPD guys, but Ted Levine's there, so there's another Hannibal Lecter connection. And then,
which is kind of funny because Michael Mann did Manhunter, which is not the same thing as
exactly.
I prefer that over Silence of the Lambs.
Yeah, Ted Levine was the bad guy
first, for one thing.
Right. And
sorry, go ahead.
Well, no, that's true. I think that's how he got. I think this is how Levine got the police captain role on Monk for sure. And it's cool seeing how he's like a rare kind of example of a guy who's both a detective and who has a CSI license. But the Foley work is good. The LA scapes feel earned. I do feel like I always got a Hans Gruber and Die Hard vibe from Neil McCauley, De Niro's character, just how he's a mixture of street smart and his tacticalness. But I just love it. It's like, damned if you do, damned if you don't. It's just like I want the girl. Now, if I'm compromised, then I got to worry about myself, And
right,
don't let yourself get attached to anything you are not willing to walk out on in 30 seconds flat.
Yeah, and you can't break it. And I love how they actually have that realistic thing. She's like, "Well, my job does fucking suck. Maybe I do want to run away with this guy and go to retire to an island."
Yeah.
Well, that's mirrored by De Niro's relationship with Amy Brenneman too. And I got to say though, at the end of the movie, when she's sitting in the car at the airport, and all this stuff is going on, just walk away. It's obvious you're getting way over your head here. This guy's bad news. Get out of there. It reminded me of Judd Hirsch or Judd. Who's the in Beverly Hills Cop? Judd.
Judge Reinhold.
Judge Reinhold, yeah.
Judge Reinhold. When he's seeing Axel get in trouble, he's cased outside, and it takes him forever to figure out he's in trouble. Same thing with Amy in that. She's just sitting there in the car. All these people, the police and everything is showing up, and it doesn't dawn on her that he's caused this problem,
I have Judge's autograph.
Yeah. Oh, cool.
Oh, really? Nice.
He'd be fun to meet.
But
if she should have, there were so many red flags with De Niro's character and her. She should have just walked away. She was an innocent, but it just reminded me of Judge in the.
So I think
that scene.
I think that might be why some might not care for the movie. It does take its time getting there. So
yeah,
unless you are just very used to, I was ready to go just because you open up with a chaotic robbery and all this neo-noir nuances as like, I love how it opens up. We introduced that Pacino is a stepdad, to a young Natalie Portman. She's just off Leon the Professional. It's literally her second or third movie she ever made. And she's arguing with the mom about something. It doesn't matter what they're arguing about, but Pacino feels helpless. He's like, I'm good at crime solving, but I don't know how to, do simple everyday things like tell mommy and daughter to calm down. So it's a very interesting from an insecure thing.
Well, the whole movie is about people's extent of commitment to whoever, you know. They bail on De Niro and, you know, in his daughter's commitment and his ex-wife's commitment or his wife's commitment. It's all about how far you're going to take this relationship before you check out, you know.
Yeah.
There's a lot of that in the movie. Yeah.
I agree. And it is also just kind of, it just makes good use of its time, I think, personally, especially just McKelty Williamson. This is definitely what made me take him more seriously as an actor. That's Bubba from Forrest Gump. And
he lost some weight, evidently.
He was a cop in that too, wasn't he?
yeah. And but the whole great ass, that was all improvised. And but
and you got your head all the way up it.
All the way up in it. But it's so funny when they cut back to them and they are smirking and like, that's authentic. They did not know he was going to say that. And but I had fun rewatching it on rewatch because then I was putting in the pieces like, yeah, there's some tragedy that happens later in the movie. Oh wait, yeah, I always wondered. And there was a great interview recently with William Fichtner. I think it was, I forget what show it was on. It was either Rosenbaum's podcast or something, and he talked about how this movie made him take everything so much more serious. You know, he'd already done a soap opera he didn't want to do for a few years. Then he'd done some other movies, and like, to add insult to injury, he's an extra, you know, playing a, you know, cop in Malcolm X and virtually told, hey, we don't need you. So then he's on lesser movies that earlier, like Virtuosity, and finds how much can change the minute people just strip away your role. So he's all about just trying to find other tricks to stand out regardless of what content is used. And like, Mann tells him, go to De Niro's house and go start rehearsing. And so he is like, oh fuck, I gotta do a lot of work, you know, being this double crossing career criminal. And John Voight is excellent, and he is inspired by Eddie Bunker, the real life safe cracker. And but James, you'll know this. So this is based off the actual life of Chuck Adamson, who was the police supervisor on a lot of Michael Mann's work. But you guys know him for creating. He not only wrote a bunch of Miami Vice, but he co-created Crime Story.
Yeah, I remember that show.
That Dennis Farina, you know, Prohibition era movie.
Yeah, it only had a 2-year run.
Yeah, pretty good show. I like how it's kind of been continually rediscovered because people just still love Farina and all the other realistic, gritty cops and robbers movies and shows. But yeah, Adamson coincidentally was actually like, I think he had it like a bit part and as like one of the dock loaders in Beverly Hills Cop. And because again, he just would always just get his SAG card just because he was doing some police consulting on all these movies and shows. And but yeah, basically it was just part of his whole life just going after this real life career criminal Neil McCauley in the 70s and up in Chicago. And that man decided, let's move it to LA. And much like James Cameron, you know, he's got the same stunt coordinator, second unit guy, Joel Kramer. So big dedicated stunt team, SWAT guys. They do film over, I forget what holiday they filmed over, but they were able to successfully close down parts of downtown LA plazas, you know, for that climax. And it's just a miracle. Like they were actually able to film at LAX airport, just unheard of nowadays. It's so wild how they let them do that. Like, cause this was still post Unabomber era. So you're just like, man,
there was actually Unabomber threats going on.
Yeah.
The filming of that.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
And they didn't have any worry. They're just like, we got a lethal force. We'll know if something bad happens, but it's like, Jesus. And I think just movies like this, T2, even Speed, just all do a good job of just, even Die Hard, obviously, just like showing LA as a character, in my opinion. Like, obviously, if you want throwback LA, then you can go LA Confidential, but I just mean
or
like
Chinatown.
Kind of freaking Chinatown. Yeah. I mean, now I look at, there are some other cool Amazon shows. Bosch is basically a modern day Chinatown with some Dog Day Afternoon action. And that's what I also liked about this. There were some like little small nods to other heist movies. Definitely some Dog Day Afternoon stuff with how you see the alarms going off and bank heist stuff. But yeah, it just, The music is well timed. It shows what's on the character mind, just like a better episode of Miami Vice, in my opinion. And that's what I was having to tell everyone. They're like, I kind of reminded of Miami Vice. I'm like, it's by the creator.
Did stuff like Dead Presidents and Point Break come out after this?
Point Break was first in 91. That's a good callback.
Okay.
So that kind of...
I am an FBI agent.
And actually, Val Kilmer got his part because Keanu Reeves turned it down.
Yeah. Believe it or not, he was
going to be in.
He was going to be Val Kilmer's Chris, and he decided, I want to do a play, man. Because I know you're going to find it hard to believe. He is Shakespearean trained, and that's why John DeBont put up with his shit on Speed. He's just like, read it back a bit. You're going in a little too strong over the top. You're getting a little hammy. But yeah, Dead Presidents is the same year, and I love that one too, because that's kind of Dog Day Afternoon meets Platoon. It's just let's have all these disgruntled, guys in the hood, come back from Vietnam, all disgruntled and high on drugs, and let's have retirement money. Let's steal from a Federal Reserve, and I think this is it too. Like, just 90s had so many good heist movies. I mean, this is the same year as Die Hard with a Vengeance, but there's just so many other good movies that just show. I mean, Fargo's a year later, but it's like so many of them know how to use dark comedy. And don't you love how Danny Trejo's playing the driver? He's playing the wheelman, and his name is Trejo.
Yeah, I noticed that. They called him.
I didn't
Trejo
notice it until
at
the
one
credits. I didn't realize it was him. Yeah.
He had been in Runaway Train, which Eddie Bunker worked on. So there was a connection there. But this is like one of his more major ones. This is kind of what gets him out of just being a guy who gets punched on an episode of TV or just in schlocky B movies. Like, this makes him more mainstream before his cousin Robert Rodriguez does a lot of backup for him.
Do you guys think Pacino overacts? I don't think he does. That's the knock on him. But I think whenever he's, quote, overacting, he's in control of it.
I agree. It's definitely
makes a point, embellishes his acting with it, and I don't think it. I always enjoy it. Is what I'm
I agree. Before James goes to this, I think it's easy for today's snarky culture to kind of do that. It's kind of like people who hate on Star Wars or Alien, but it's just because they've seen bad ripoffs. It's like, don't blame the source material. You've seen, but yes, I have seen movies that are good. I've seen movies that are bad that have Pacino overacting. I saw this movie he's coincidentally in with Anthony Hopkins that I thought was actually a pretty decent noir, but he just didn't have it in him.
What movie was it?
It was, oh God, it was pretty decent, surprisingly. I got a lot of classic Big Sleep vibes from it. 2016. Before I let you go on that next one, Misconduct. That was an interesting.
Oh, yeah.
I liked it. I just thought near the end when they reveal, oh, I did bad. Just Pacino is he's seen better days. So, but again, that's not fair. You're talking about modern day Pacino, not 90s when he's got the juice. It's like, so yeah, no, go ahead, James. I'm just
if you look at Pacino's evolution as an actor, he does Panic in Needle Park on a
such a good sad movie. Yeah,
hits The Godfather, goes to Dog Day Afternoon, gets to I'm trying to think what was between was it?
Oh, was it Starface or was it in the other one you were just about ready to mention?
No, I'm talking 70s.
70s.
He starts
and Justice for All's in there.
And Justice for All, he's been reserved in a couple, like Lumet let him go ape shit on, in my opinion, let him go ape shit in friggin' Injustice for All. When he gets to, and was
we'll talk about those movies later.
But I'm saying, yeah. When people say he was overacting, I said somebody said he was overacting in Injustice for All. No, he wasn't.
I agree.
He was playing a guy who was up against the wall. And
he had to be that
situation. When he has that breakdown in the fucking courtroom, that's him basically just saying, fuck it, I'll tell you the truth about this guy. He's a scumbag, and he does it in such a great way. Then when he does Cruising, which is a movie that almost buried him.
That's a good movie.
It's a great movie to watch. I think it's one of the best movies he's ever done.
Well, and it's because he's out of his comfort zone.
We'll return after these messages.
folks, Househack here. We got a 90-minute weekly Shack Stop scrolling all over the world. Find it at 2 p.m. and 10 p.m. Eastern Time on Mondays, then 3 p.m. on Wednesdays, then 7 p.m. on Thursdays. You can catch it on many more radio stations, 99.9 KERB, 1 p.m. Central Time, 2 p.m. Eastern on Mondays. Then catch the encore on Thursdays at 5 p.m. Central Time, 6 p.m. Eastern. Then catch it Wednesday mornings at 11 a.m. Eastern Time, 10 a.m. Central on 107.7 K-Twins. Then hang out with us Wednesday afternoons on MXTR and House Shack Radio, 3 p.m. Eastern Time. Then Thursday, get up bright and early with us on 95.7 Web Radio at 6 a.m. Pacific Time, 9 a.m. Eastern. Of course, we've got your Friday covered as well. 12 p.m. Eastern Time on MXTR FM and 10 p.m. Eastern Time, 9 p.m. Central, 107.7 K-Twins. Find everything on HouseShack.com.
HouseShack. Do you ever find yourself thinking about who would win in a fight between Goku and Superman? Hi, I'm James Gavsey, and on the Who Would Win show, me and my co-host Ray ignore anything important happening in the outside world and debate fictional battles between characters from comics, movies, and video games.
We got a new show every week, and almost always am I the winner.
Yeah, not true, Ray.
In the past, we've discussed such matches as Captain America versus Darth Vader, Solid Snake versus the Iron Giant, classic matchups like RoboCop versus Terminator, and even the Muppets versus Sesame Street.
That one was crazy. So if you're a fan of geek culture and love a spirited debate, check out the Who Would Win show wherever you get your podcasts, or check us out at whowouldwinshow.com.
When he got to Heat, to me, he's just coming off a Scent of a Woman, and I think Frankie and Johnny at that point.
Yes, yep.
He's not overacting. He's
Frankie
never,
and Johnny's probably his most relatable everyday role he does. Before. So I think that's just it. Like, he can do the work. I think it's just easy to pile on him because he's been typecast as authority figures in cops like many Italians in Hollywood, unfortunately. Well, De Niro's kind of done more comedy. He got sick of doing the whole tough guy attitude after a while. But yes, it's unfair. And he did take a lot of chances in between Godfather and, but
I think the only comedy Pacino ever attempted was it Author?
Well, yeah.
Which my brother-in-law did the theme
we're getting
song
off
for.
topic. I'm sorry, but yeah.
Oh, he performed it on stage?
My brother-in-law Michael Franks wrote with Dave Grusin, Milk and Cookies, the theme song for that movie.
Fucking A, whoa.
Yeah.
That's
yeah,
cool.
in fact, I remember I was here, I was about 6 years old, and my brother-in-law was like, "Yeah, I'm doing this soundtrack for this Al Pacino movie called Author," and I was like, Oh yeah, it was like Al Pacino. Wow,
Richard
geez,
Belzer's in it. He's pretty watchable. I don't care for the one racing movie he did.
Bobby Deerfield.
Yeah, it's kind of average, but he's good. It's just I just felt let down. I'm like he's given it his all, but not giving him much character to work with. So I think that's just it. Like De Niro, I've seen people joke, and you guys can let me know if you agree with this or not. I don't completely agree with this, but I see what they mean, where they're like, De Niro can do a lot of things, he can't cry. I'm like, well, that's just it. Like, he kind of just makes you feel like crying, even though he himself is not crying.
That's true. He's never really done a sad film.
And
Awakenings, that counts.
Oh, I love that one.
Yeah, that one's sad.
So there you go.
That slow dance with the man.
So I think he just has a different way of showing it rather than the everyday, So.
When he finds out about Joe Pesci's character in Goodfellas, he loses it in the phone booth.
Yeah.
And that's just that. He is definitely still in. He did this the same year as Casino, but he is definitely still in Goodfellas territory. Where if he didn't have those, I love how Pesci does all the threatening while he does the promises.
Pretty much.
And he kind of basically
menacing,
he does that in Heat while making him be an everyday guy. Like he doesn't come off as a menace. If you didn't know he was a criminal, you would just be like, him, the guy in the fancy suit? No way, he's really good at blending in throughout the movie, and I think that is a testament to his ability, let alone the kind of wardrobe and how they stage him. But yeah, I don't think he would have taken that role had he not already trusted, because his character is basically doing the kind of antics in Mean Streets, minus the, be a selfish dick. But he's still doing the, you better not cross me one more time, in Goodfellas. So it is an interesting mashup of his earlier stuff while also kind of going back to the action-packed De Niro we like seeing in Deer Hunter and Taxi Driver. But yeah, Ashley Judd's fantastic in this movie. Like, fantastic. Like, she is not doing her usual what comes later, where it's just, psycho thriller version, or Fugitive on the Run Judd, and but yeah, she does A Time to Kill a year later. But it's just a testament. People love it because of the characters in this. Dennis Haysbert, you get, the voodoo guy from Major League. He's excellent in this. This
Morgan
is literally
Freeman's brother.
And another thing to bring up too is like the interaction of two different families in a way.
Yes.
You got De Niro and his group, which is kind of a family of its own, and then you got I said De Niro, and then you got Pacino and his group.
Yes. And they answer to each other. Like, the movie is smarter than the average bear. Like, Pacino is always just like, if this was a Harrison Ford type movie or an Arnold movie, I'm not talking shit. I'm just saying just what they're accustomed to do. Arnold's got to throw a guy out a window, and Harrison's got to, get someone, by the collar and say, listen to me. Pacino is pretty much, I'm done. I love the scene where he's just talking to the rest of the surveillance team. He's like, so, bon voyage, motherfucker. He is just like pissed. He's just like, but it's a more organic kind of anger. He's like, I'm not mad at you. I'm mad that I have been up for 18 hours and I got to crash knowing that it was all in vain, and so yeah, it's
gets his TV back and then throws it out.
And then
But De Niro's already angry that they've done business with just bottom of the barrel petty criminals who, before they hired him is like, we're going to get rid of him because we know this guy's doing rapey, serial killing stuff. He's a shady prick. We're not going to split our bill with him. We're either going to kill him or tell him to get the fuck out of, town. Likely kill him, but he got away. So let's go to plan D because plan A, B, and C did not work. Well, Pacino is just angry at how everyone's eating up overtime and no one has any results. He's like, we've caught way more dangerous fish like this. Why did this guy slip out of the net?
Well, and then there's that interplay between De Niro and Pacino when they're not even in the same scene together, but there's like interplay between, like, when they're figuring out, like, they're standing in the middle of a road trying to figure out, what are these guys after? Why were they standing here?
They're playing chess against each other.
So I think that it does go back to Sidney Lumet in a way. It does feel like a character stage play. Everybody got a moment. The son is like, what would you be doing if you weren't catching criminals or robbing banks all day? That they all have a moment to just kind of be, I wouldn't say poetic, but just have a moment of truth. And yeah, the actors definitely had all the right motivation. Like, and going back to Dennis Haysbert for a minute, like, I was really digging this. And when I was watching this with family, they had a cool theory that I'm going to pass by you guys. The actor's done all kinds of great roles. I mean, he's God on Lucifer, for God's sakes. He's in Far From Heaven. But he was the president, 6 years later. But I love how in Heat, how, he's at that crappy, 9-to-5 restaurant job. And I think I had a few other family members say this, and I kind of am convinced Donald's character, he might be being taken advantage of by his parole officer.
Well, that's pretty obvious. Also,
they don't even say it, but you have to kind of infer that given the crappy hours, he doesn't get to keep his tips. He's making peanuts,
and he's got to kick back some of that money to, like, the guy who hired
25%. Yeah, 25%.
Yeah. It's a total. So that's just it too. Like, it does show it. It opens up all these barriers. Like, Michael Mann is so good at, without glamorizing it, And much like Scorsese, he is showing why you would go to the temptation in the first place. Is like, yeah, if not these guys, when you're out of prison, if you got that big a rap sheet, you're not going to get a decent job unless you got a very forgiving employer. But
and you're going to have just as corruptible people trying to screw you over.
Oh yeah, trust me. When I was doing valet and all kinds of other jobs, guys, growing up, I was just beside myself. I'm like, what did I do wrong? I'm not saying by no way am I putting myself as an actual victim. Like I am not anywhere near that level of being misinformed or being taken advantage of. But well, hopefully never. But I just mean I'm just doing a disclaimer. It's just I was one of those where I was just like, hey, we like to blame ourselves when a job doesn't work out. Why was someone such a dick to me? It's like it didn't have anything to do with you. It had everything to do with them. So
yeah,
this does kind of bring up it just shows all the different levels. And when you watch it initially, you're kind of thinking, oh dear, Lieutenant Hannah's got to deal with family melodrama, but it's a good showing. I think it does pretty well, like what we see on a typical other movies and shows now, is like he's not able to have much of a life. He really is still in love with his wife, but he doesn't, he's struggling to make time for her, let alone for any sleep. He's
and that's the thing between both characters is the job is the life.
The job is the life. And so if they were to update it, all you would have to literally do is just update it with iPhones. Just take out the pagers digitally and add the phones.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, I do love how I actually caught it on this time around, and it was actually a nice scene before all the other stuff that we remember. I love how he just is having that moment to kind of just gloat while he's downing a bunch of coffee. Who knows how many rounds? He's just like, just in his kitchen. I'm just going to spend these next 10 minutes with what little time I have before going to the office. Just going to enjoy a nice coffee. So the silent moments speak as much truth. Even the nothing roles were well performed. Like Henry Rollins is actually really good as William Fichtner's bodyguard.
Mm-hmm.
Then you got Hank Azaria and Jeremy Piven in there too. That's like, wow.
Yeah.
I've forgotten they were in there.
Piven is a blink and a miss as the surgeon. And it is so funny. He's like, De Niro totally pulls a Terminator. Give me your suit. Give me your watch. We're switching.
And the bad guy from Manhunter had a small part in
Tom
it.
Noonan. Yeah, he gives.
Wow.
So going to James's earlier point, that Mann is like many a good filmmaker. He is loyal to his actors and crew. He will reuse you as many times as he can and give you a juicy role. And
Judd Apatow too.
Yep. Judd Apatow will do that. But yeah, Tom Noonan was juicy. Like this was the only thing I literally knew him outside of Manhunter and RoboCop 2. I was like, oh, the guy giving him all the blueprints, and he's got a very, older beard and everything. Yeah, it's pretty nice. But Zonder Berkeley, he's good as the boyfriend of Pacino's ex-wife. I just love.
Who was the guy that played that dick that they didn't like that they were going after? Wainwright. Who was he?
Oh, Wayne Grove.
Wayne Grove, right?
This is definitely what I know Kevin Gage the most from. You've seen him be the detective in Strangeland. You've seen him be in a bunch of other B movies, but what else you would know him from is he's one of the other hotshot Marines in G.I. Jane. But this is probably his best known role. You've seen him in other stuff, but yeah, for the most part, he's kind of just Mr. B movie guy. Don't you love though when Pacino's Hannah meets up, and we'll probably wrap this up soon, but I love how he gets a criminal informant played by Ricky Harris, and it's Tone Loc. And I just love how he sits down. He's like, brother, you are wasting my time. Thanks for the drink. I'm getting the fuck out of here unless you got something to share in the next 5 minutes. But it was interesting watching this time around. I was like, yeah, the one, there's some cool stuntmen who you've seen in different movies doing the other kind of shootouts and everything. Even Gerald Ford's son, Steven, plays an officer.
That was him. Okay. I saw him in the credits. Yeah.
Yeah.
Does he walk into a door?
No, he does not. He just runs around like a wimp. But
yeah, I'm in East Grand Rapids. This is Ford country here.
Oh, this time around,
Time ago.
in a galaxy far away. This time around, I actually noticed something I'd never noticed before. I was like, yeah, I always thought Schwartz, played by B movie Roger Corman's favorite Jerry Trimble, got shot by the bus stop. He's actually survives, because then you see him later on. He's got the cast. It's like, oh, he was shot at by Val Kilmer non-lethally. You know, Chris it's just I didn't put that together, but yeah, this is literally the only mainstream movie he has been in. The rest have been Alien and Bloodsport and Die Hard knockoffs for Roger Corman. Live by the Fist, One Man Army, King of the Kickboxers, that Terminator Woman. I'm not making this up. This is as mainstream as he ever got, was in a fucking Michael Mann movie. He did not get to use his martial arts, but he looked pretty cool being in all the different police raids with the Other Free. But yeah, I could go on all day just because the cast really is dynamite. But this is where De Niro actually became best friends with Sizemore, and he was always having him help him out financially or be kind of a consultant to him at rehab. John Voight is excellent. I love how he just kind of he's just like, the life is the life. This is all, dishonest.
He was their business manager, basically.
But yeah, he's the go-between. Yeah, he's like, personally, I think this deal is a load of crap, but if you want to take it, I can make it happen. And it's actually so funny seeing him on Ray Donovan, because at one point in one of the final seasons, they're actually just they're faking Stephen Bauer's character's death, and one of them lets out, "This sounds like the opening of a Michael Mann movie." It's like perfect, fucking perfect. Another LA downtown movie. But yeah, what studio is excellent here. I just love how he got a moment to kind of get some action-y roles before going back and doing some other awesome Navajo period pieces. I just like how he's just like, he's trying to feed Pacino's, Hannah a bunch of info, and Hannah's like, wrong answer. I do not want to hear that right now. Give me something else. Give me all you got.
Have we tracked anybody now? Is there anybody we can track?
Is there anybody?
Yeah. So I was thinking too that Pacino's kind of the Sonny Crockett of that.
He really is. If Don Johnson was a bigger dick. But it also really does change how you see cops and robbers movies, like from this point on, like just everything. Like this is definitely one of the first movies where you see them going in and you're hearing all the police radios, and just all going off. So like, this is no different than when you see an awesome above average episode of SVU or another Training Day type movie. But yeah, I think it's definitely a mixture of Crockett and Justice for All. It is that kind of, I'm earnest as opposed to I'm macho, just
right.
It holds up still. It really is a lot of fun. I might introduce it to my brother who likes a good heist movie like Ocean's 11. So
yeah, it's on Paramount Plus for free right now.
Paramount Plus, Netflix.
In the gun battle, the bank robbery gun battle was probably the most, at that time, the best I'd ever seen for that kind of a confrontation.
Mm-hmm. And that inspired the Marines how to reload a weapon.
Yep.
And that makes me think about
or Navy SEALs, my bad.
The gunfire and everything that you heard in Saving Private Ryan was pretty realistic as well.
They actually used real explosions on that beach. I just watched
I didn't know that. Oh, that's right. That was same kind of deal. Like this is one of the last few movies, much like James Cameron, where studios allow him to basically be filming for like 48 hours plus, on 3 hours of sleep, So, good stuff comes out of it. And later, they rearrange, find different methods to do some of the same things they want differently. But yeah, I mean, there's free key shootouts in here, a fourth if you want to count the, on foot pursuit at the end, but there's more to it than just looking forward to those highlights. And I would see some people shit talk, especially on YouTube. Oh, only good part of the movie. I'm like, shut up.
Well, as long as the movie is, it kept me captivated through the whole thing.
Yeah.
Well, we've also seen, after seeing years of movies before this, as well as movies that did it poorly, I do feel like so many movies want to rip off Cape Fear, Seven, or even Silence of the Lambs, and unfortunately, now even Dark Knight, and it's like you're only as good as how well the role is and whether the actors are actually trying to play off each other, and that's just it. They're not hogging each other's shit. They're not trying to one up each other.
They can't. They're not in too many of the same scenes together.
Well, there's that too, but like even when Neil's talking to his crew and Hannah's talking to his crew, like it's kind of like a good episode of any, Western or even all our favorite space operas. Like everybody got their moment in the sun. It's like,
yeah, pretty much.
We know what Charito wants. Like he could have gone away, Tom Sizemore, but he said, I am loyal to you. You got me to serve less time. I'll do this for free. Yeah. And you might need a wheelman if Trejo can't make it, and so I was telling James about this earlier. Don't you guys like how at the end it becomes a fugitive and a revenge movie, like in that last part, instead of just what's the last heist we're going to do?
Yeah.
And I've seen some other critics note that Michael Mann clearly loves Hong Kong cinema because there are some similar kind of scenes that you would probably see in something like The Killer or Hard Boiled, just similar kind of glistening stuff of, and they got all
the airport scene of them hunting each other down at the end is it kind of made me think of Hong Kong in a way.
It definitely just that whole be smarter than the average bear, use your surroundings, and that's just it. Well, yeah, the art of war, yeah, and
the character that tries to set them up at the drive-in theater, in giving them the fake money or whatever.
Oh, Van Zandt,
the banker. Isn't that the same actor that's in the Dark Knight bank?
Yes, he plays a banker.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's right. Because the Dark Knight starts out with a bank heist scene, and there, he gets stuffed in his mouth by the joke.
Trigger happy blank lobby guy.
Okay, it was the same guy. Cool.
So yeah, I mean, he plays a similar role on the Prison Break franchise, and basically a crooked special federal agent who.
Well, he looks like somebody you can't trust. Yeah.
No, that's just it. And so it's so funny when I see him in a good guy role or playing a dad. You just never expect it from him because he finds ways to make himself not look creepy or not look perplexed. He's just he's a bit of a chameleon when you actually give him a chance. So I think that's cool.
Well, he played a handicapped guy on that series, Mom.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
That was wild too. Like we would look at him, and was like, "Is this serious guy doing comedy now?" Whoa.
Well, he's good at it. In fact, he did things like what's that movie called with Danny DeVito's Saving Mona or something like that.
Drowning Mona.
Drowning Mona.
Oh, that's right.
I remember that, but I don't remember anything about it.
Yeah,
I remember the Hugos.
It's a pretty wacky dark comedy you can find on TV, but yeah. And so again, just a lot of people have moments to shine, but there is a lot to play around with in that sandbox instead of just say the lines atypically. It's not like a lesser Aaron Sorkin movie where you're like, slow down, you're saying it too abnormally, people don't talk that fast. I say that as a fan of Sorkin, but I'm just saying like Hank Azaria, he could have easily hammed it up being given his comedic background, but he's playing it straight like, oh, I should have never trusted that lying bitch. It's so funny.
There's a little comedy with this character, but just
a little comedy.
Just enough.
It's just he's the butt of the joke, but it's so funny. I never noticed him at the start. So it's so funny when I put all those two
me either.
together. I was like,
oh, that is him. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It's going downhill. We climbed up the mountain. And so
well, he's still in the cop's heck with her now, you better like her,
Yeah, so currently Adam Driver is attached to play young Neil Macaulay. I'm okay with that. Austin Butler is also attached. Pacino is rumored to be playing an older version of himself. I'm not keen on the casting of Leo DiCaprio and Christian Bale because that just feels like it's catering to what audiences want to see instead of their
Well,
right
wasn't
for
there a movie that had De Niro or maybe even Pacino or both, kind of Righteous Kill or something like
Yeah,
that?
we're gonna get to those. So let's finish up the Heat 2 discussion, and I'll list off these other Pacino and De Niro movies. Any final closing thoughts?
It was cold, not even hot.
Oh, so can you hear the cold around the corner? Cough, cough.
I have the COVID.
Oh dear.
Oh, ouch.
No, I'm kidding. I don't COVID. Fuck that.
Okay.
For now.
Yeah, I saw it Heat in the theater. I don't think I've seen it maybe once since, and revisiting it, there's a lot going on. It's really well made.
I haven't seen it in a while, but I'm definitely wanting to go see it again, or see it again.
I would love it.
It earns its reputation.
You can actually request your theater to bring it in. You just have to pay the money for it.
I would love to see it in a film studies or theater class. That would be epic. In fact, let's do that. If we ever meet up with James, I'm going to bring that Blu-ray. We're going to just blow your speakers out. But
yeah, my theater offers, what is it? The last I checked, you could rent a theater with 20 people for $100 or $150.
Oh, that's $5.
Wow. It's not too bad.
I'll end it with I do what I do best. I take scores. You do what you do best. You try to stop guys like me.
Yeah.
But then you choose the movie that they screen.
Yeah, definitely.
Well,
I can feel the movie right around the corner.
You didn't have it playing in the background, Mike.
Oh, I know. I get.
But yeah,
I think it's too distracting.
but that
I'm distracting enough.
I love the and the Edge, just that Tracer, I think is the name of that one song he uses. Dun 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 dun. dun
oh yeah.
It just and you fit. It might as well be bullets ricocheting. Like it just creates even more uneasiness. Like it really is a good music. It's not cheesy synthwave or anything, but there's some little electronic cues.
Yeah.
It just shows kind of just how all the sound is one giant medium. So that's just it. Like the style really does serve the movie instead of that's all it has to show. And it's just, it's not a dull slog, that's for sure.
What I'm glad they didn't do in this movie is have Pacino get called into his boss's office and say, what's going on with what's taking you so long with this case? That's the standard. You're messing up the underdog cop thing where
because it wasn't really about that. It wasn't a buddy cop movie.
Yeah. Although you got to say, I could see if this was a lesser movie, Pacino just like knocking out his boss and then handcuffing him like in his office and just lock the door inside and say, "Don't shut up. Let me catch this guy for 48 more hours."
You're off this case. I'm assigning it to so and so, and then he takes
I could see Nick Nolte coming in, being an internal affairs guy, saying, "You're up to your ass.
I'm drunk.
I'm drunk. That would have actually been okay. It would have had to be really fleshed out. Like, hey, Hannah, I still got to see you for a hearing today. That's just it. Like, this does go back to Adam 12. You'll be glad to know James is like a righteous cop. Like, he doesn't do shitty arrests. He does all the homework, making sure everything's ready to go. And fortunately, a lot of his stuff is, robbery, homicide. So this definitely. What you see now on a typical episode of something like TNT's The Closer, there's even episodes of Rizzoli Isles where similar kind of cues, just when people are shooting in the distance, like outside in the streets, you do get a heat or collateral element where it's like echoes and you don't know where they're coming from and everyone's just, ducking and covering like any wise person would do. But Yeah, if this was a lesser movie, you could definitely they would have probably had it be. If it was Walter Hill production, you definitely would have had. Yeah, you made a bad arrest. You got to come answer. No, gotta catch one more guy before I come in. You know.
Well, Cam, when you said Nick Nolte's coming in, I was just imagining a scene with Nolte coming in and telling Pacino, "You're done. End of story.
You're done." Now, it'd be even funnier if Eddie Murphy was like his partner.
Yeah.
Hey, shut up, brother. Shut up.
No, I think I liked Nolte better in Extreme Prejudice than I did 48 Hours.
Yeah, that's a good point. He's just a dick as opposed to a racist dick.
Yeah. Well, they kind of do a 80s mellowing of his racism in that movie, but not,
no, absolutely.
not very much, though.
Well, but I just do find it interesting, though, how like all these elements do kind of go back to some of the grit of a buddy genre film. It's how well you do it, as opposed to, oh god, you're just ripping off better scenes from, you know, NYPD Blue or Serpico. You know, it's like you got to really layer it instead of, oh, what next? You know, The Shield definitely plays into similar stuff in terms of when criminal exchanges are going down. Breaking Bad definitely owes a lot to stuff like this. I think just. It's just, especially much like Sopranos, like I have seen the same thing. People who like stuff like Heat or Training Day, but they're generally don't care for cops or gangster movies. So it is a rarity where just people see a face to the genre instead of just see it done poorly and assume that's how other installments of that are like. A rarity in the jungle.
Yeah, it does kind of stand out on its own. Heat.
Totally.
It's not your typical cop film, or, you know, cops and robbers movie, even though it is, you know.
It's not the OG, but it's not Amateur Hour either.
Right.
Follow us on the web on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. The podcast is available on Podbean, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Anchor, Apple, and anywhere else podcasts are available. Feel free to review our show and leave comments on any of those sites. Thanks a million for listening.
It's a jacked up